of food that attracts these animals, these vermin, and we are doing everything that we can to maintain our city clean, but we need your cooperation and help. Now, I have heard of concerns around our business district, our areas where we have our commercial properties, restaurants, and eateries. So I've asked our business owners, especially eateries, those that provide food to our residents and those who visit Passaic, to utilize containers when you're throwing out your food items. There are certain businesses like tax prepare businesses or notaries, and they're mostly paperwork. And even though the strong winds can blow that around, and if you don't tie your cardboard and recycling, that can create an issue. Right now, I'm mostly focused on ensuring that those who are throwing out mixed garbage, especially food and grease, you put it in containers, but not just containers, containers that can be closed. So I started a new initiative and I purchased special containers that close and remain closed to provide them to all of our businesses on Market Street for free. I partnered up with our UEZ, our Urban Enterprise Zone, to start an initiative in order to ensure that animals can't get into the garbage, and that's going to reduce the number of animals or vermin, mice, rats, or opossums, or skunks, or squirrels, or cats, or any animal that's just going around trying to find food. Comencé una nueva iniciativa. Voy a comenzar con la calle de la Market Street, porque los negocios que venden comida, cuando ponen la basura afuera en fundas y no en contenedores cerrados, esos animales vienen a buscar comida. So compré contenedores especiales que lo voy a regalar, regalado. No, no lo voy a cobrar, lo voy a regalar a los negocios en la Market Street para que lo utilicen para ayudarnos a reducir los números o instantes donde encontramos ratones o otros animales, porque donde hay comida, ellos van a venir. Y nosotros queremos mantener una ciudad limpia, pero necesitamos la cooperación de toda la comunidad. So, necesito que los residentes se recuerdan, pongan su basura en contenedores y cierran los contenedores, pero los comerciantes, los dueños de restaurantes, porque muchas veces botan comida, carne, o pan, o dulces, o bizcocho. Mira, si está bueno, no lo bote, mándelo al alcalde aquí, en el ayuntamiento, 330 de la Passaic Street. No voten comida buena, que el alcalde tiene hambre. Pero, y tenemos muchos aquí empleados que tienen hambre. Pero en toda seriedad, cuando se bota comida, especialmente con grasa en las fundas, y a veces pasa un gato, o un perro, o otro animal, y abre esa funda, eso atrae los animales. So le voy a demostrar los contenedores. I want to show you the containers. So I'm going to step out from away from the table and I'm going to show you. I'm going to bring the container. So you stay right there. I'm going to bring it to you and you're going to check it out. Watch right now as I show you this brand new container. This is one example of the brand new container. So I want to share it with you. And I purchased these for every business in Market Street. Estos son los nuevos contenedores que yo le compré para cada negocio en la Market Street, que se lo vamos a regalar. And I'm going to show you what makes them special. So it's this one attachment right here. You see this attachment right here? So once you detach it, you can raise it up. But once you clip it on, now it's stuck like this. So the animals don't easily get in. When the wind blows, it doesn't open up so easily. Estos contenedores son especiales porque aquí nosotros los conectamos y se cierra, y así cuando viene el viento no se abre, la basura no sale, los animales no pueden entrar, y para los que están trabajando de basura recoger, lo abren fácil y así pueden botar toda la basura. So compré estos con un programa de UEZ y se los vamos a regalar gratis, cero, no vamos a cobrar nada, porque verdaderamente quiero su cooperación. Necesito su ayuda. Si vamos a mantener una ciudad limpia, necesitamos que todos estamos trabajando unidos con una visión que una mejor ciudad para ti, una mejor ciudad para mí, es una mejor ciudad para todos. So tenemos que trabajar unidos. So I wanted to show you this new container just so that you can see the efforts that we're doing. I'm also researching other initiatives in order to reduce the instances of any vermin in the area, but specifically we are stepping up our patrols. We are actually directing a brand new initiative to prevent littering by having more police on the street and code enforcement after hours. If you're caught littering or dumping, you will receive serious fines. También voy a poner nuevos policías y empleados a caminar las calles Y si te ven tirando basura en la calle, te van a dar multas muy grandes. Pero le quería compartir un poco de eso, so I wanted to tell you a little bit about these new containers and this new initiative in order to try to reduce the instances of vermin, because in densely populated areas, the challenges that we face is when you have a lot of eateries, especially after the pandemic, when so many of the eateries were now doing outside eating, a lot of food was being left behind. Other issues that we're concerned about is with a lot of flash flood and the storms that we experience. The waters rise up. You get rats that come out of the sewers. You get rats that come near the river because they need a source of water. Rats and mice, they're not like humans where we can go a few days without water. If they don't get water, they die right away. So we need to make sure to be vigilant when it comes to our garbage, to work very hard to keep our storm drains, our inlets clear, which I've sent DPW. And again, it's extremely important that we're all doing our part to maintain our city clean. I've also been really exploring other issues. You know, one that was unexpected is over the last few years, we stepped up our capture and neutering, spade and neutering, and we addressed a lot of the feral cats and stray cats in areas, but we found out that when you get rid of the cats, the mice come out. So we've been surprised at that. Actually, it's not something that we could foresee, but it's a reality. And now we're working to try to create a greater balance. In some areas, I've seen, much like scarecrows, they put up the plastic owls outside, and this seems to deter mice because that's a natural predator. Not sure if you're going to see 1,000 plastic owls around, because that would beg the question, who put them out there? I'm sorry. Ok, so le estaba compartiendo al pueblo que no solamente es la basura afuera, pero también con muchas tormentas y la agua que está subiendo, está trayendo esos ratones que vienen de abajo de la calle. So nosotros estamos trabajando con DPW y explorando otras medidas que podemos utilizar. Yo sé que es algo que tiene mucho preocupado y yo he leído que es algo que está ocurriendo por todo el estado de Nueva Jersey. Otra causa que nosotros notamos es que desafortunadamente cuando estábamos trabajando a reducir los números de gatos que estaban en la calle, no esperábamos que cuando se van los gatos, salen los ratones. Y eso es un problema. Obviamente no algo que teníamos en expectativa que podía ocurrir, pero ahora mismo nosotros estamos buscando diferentes medidas para asegurar que cada vecindario está limpio, pero necesitamos su cooperación. Mira, hay muchos factores que pueden causar haber más animales en la calle, pero el número uno es basura. Cuando hay mucha basura en la calle, cuando hay muchos restaurantes y personas tirando comida en la calle, eso atrae esos animales, sea gatos, sea lo que nosotros llamamos raccoons o squirrels o ratones o lo que sea. So, tenemos que ser conscientes, poner nuestra basura en contenedores. Ok, también le quiero compartir que una nueva iniciativa que estamos comenzando es cero tolerancia a lo que están vendiendo comida y materiales en la calle sin permiso. Yo sé que es algo delicado y algo preocupante para algunos, y le voy a explicar por qué. The second initiative I really want to talk to you about is our zero tolerance approach to vendors in the streets without permits. Vendors in the streets without permits. I know that it's a touchy subject, and I want to give some context before I address how we're going to approach this. After the pandemic, well, let's start with the pandemic. There were many individuals that were concerned. There were challenges that we all face. It was a global pandemic. And there was food insecurity. We were able to provide food, but for some, there was a real challenge in terms of work. They couldn't go to work. They could not make a decent wage. So people began to find creative ways to make money. Barbers were cutting hair at home with masks on. People were selling food. And we opened up outside dining to accommodate our small businesses. We were concerned that they could close. We accommodated as much as we could. We partnered with the county, the state, the federal government. After the pandemic, unfortunately, the practice continued, even though we explained that if you wanted to have outdoor dining or if you wanted to sell in our streets, you had to get a permit. Now, the challenges with allowing people to sell unregulated or without inspection is first a public health concern. If you can't hold them accountable, if they're not held to the same standard as other eateries, then the food could be contaminated. If you get sick, there's no one that you can go to because that vendor may not be there on that same corner. They need to get health inspections. So the number one concern is a public health concern. We inspect our eateries, restaurants, or anyone that's going to provide cooked food. There's individuals in the streets selling cooked food, seafood, cheese, things that should be regulated, and they're selling them out there. And if individuals get sick, if individuals find contaminated food, at home after buying it in the street, you're going to come to the city and you're going to say, how are you allowing this? And we're going to say, we're not. But we are getting more rigid. And June 1st, there will be zero tolerance. By zero tolerance means if the police and code enforcement catch you out there and you do not leave and stop, we will have your food truck, your handheld truck, it will be towed. We will have a flatbed come. It will be towed at your expense. You will have to pay for it. We will have your material, your produce, whether produce, vegetables, and fruits, or your cooked food, it's going to be destroyed at your loss. We will not compensate you for what you invested. This is extremely important, and it is not that we don't feel concerned for you, but as mayor, I opened up 2 new sections where you can apply for a permit and sell your food legally, sell your material legally at Garibaldi Plaza, on Madison Ave. When I first opened up for food trucks there was only 1, and people said no one will go. Now we have 10 food trucks, and people know that you can go there to get food. It's the Field of Dreams approach. So we build it, and then people will come. But you have to abide by the law and do it appropriately. Number 2, it really creates an unfair market. Number 1 is a public safety concern, a public health safety concern, contaminated food that can get you sick, food that's not prepared appropriately. Number 2, it's an unfair market. When individuals get to sell in the street, but they're not regulated, they didn't have to pay for permits, they don't get inspected, they could stand in front of a store and sell the exact same product that store sells for a lot less money. And some of these vendors have become brazen. They're standing in front of the store that sells the same product, whether it's produce or tamales or tacos, and they're selling the same product for less money. That's not fair to them, especially because if our inspectors show up to the store and the food isn't handled properly, they get shut down. But how do you shut down an illegal vendor who gets to move wherever they want? We must have a zero tolerance. Number 3, when you have unregulated or individuals that have no permits without any process through the government, they don't really care how they leave their stations. We're finding more garbage in the street, food left behind by people, and this is adding to what we talked about earlier, the vermin problem, issues with mice, issues with raccoons, issues with opossums, issues with feral cat. So again, I remind you, we set up opportunities for you to apply. Come to 330 Passaic Street, apply for a permit. We'll help you. We'll help you to get your business off right. But you cannot just go around and set up shop wherever you want. And for businesses who do have your permit to sell, you're supposed to be restricted to your own property under your awning. If you're impeding pedestrian traffic, you are in violation. Starting June 1st, our officials, our officers, our code enforcement will be out there. Quiero hablar de esta nueva iniciativa de cero tolerancia para lo que están vendiendo en las aceras o en la calle ilegalmente. Número 1, la preocupación, y aunque tengo mucha compasión y me duele, yo entiendo que en la pandemia muchos de nosotros pasamos por tiempos difíciles, pérdida de seres queridos, familiares, dificultad con ingreso, pero recuérdense que como nosotros decidimos acomodar a la gente en la pandemia fue porque había una pandemia y ya se acabó. Hay reglas y normas que se tienen que respetar. Hay negocios, restaurantes que están haciendo todo correcto, sacan su permiso, tienen sus inspecciones, se sabe que la comida está bien hecha y preparado correcto, pero lo que están vendiendo ilegal en cualquier lugar, número 1, ellos a veces se ponen alante de un negocio y venden el mismo producto ni se esconden, ni se ponen en otra área, y eso es injusto. Pero la preocupación número uno que yo tengo es para la salud pública, porque si no hay nadie para inspectar la comida, asegurar que lo preparan bien o que está bien cocinado, si te venden algo y te enferma tú o tu niño, ¿cómo ellos van a dar cuenta? Nosotros no podemos ir a decir te vamos a quitar una licencia porque no tienen una licencia. Comenzando el 1 de julio, no hay tolerancia. Si te agarran vendiendo ilegal en un camión, en tu carrito, se lo va a llevar la grúa y tú vas a tener que pagar la multa y sacar tu camión o tu carrito. Por favor, comenzando el día 1 de junio, paren o te van a destruir tu material, tus productos a tu costo. Yo no quiero ver eso que pase, pero necesitamos mantener la orden en la ciudad. Y la primera preocupación que tengo es la salud pública del pueblo. Porque si nadie está inspectando, si el Departamento de Salud no está viendo que esa comida está preparada correctamente, puede enfermar a otras personas. Esa es mi primera preocupación. La segunda preocupación es injusto. Es injusto porque lo que tienen que pagar su permiso o que pasan sus inspecciones, ellos tienen que cobrar para ese material y esos productos. Pero como lo que están vendiendo en la calle no pagan por permisos o inspecciones, ellos pueden rebajar el precio y otra vez, yo les repito, lo venden adelante de la misma tienda que está vendiendo el otro producto. Eso es injusto y no lo deben hacer. Yo he proveído lugares y locales donde tú puedes vender legal. Ven al ayuntamiento y saca tu permiso. No es que te quiero parar tu negocio, pero quiero que lo haga correcto para que seamos justos con todos. Por favor, aplican. Ven, yo le invito. Aplican para su permiso y su licencia. Tengo 2 locales, en la Madison y en la Monroe, con la calle de la Dayton, dentro de la Parker y la Dayton, en la Garibaldi Plaza. Pueden venderla ahí. Si dicen no hay gente. Cuando yo desarrollé la calle en la Madison para que los camiones que vendan comida puedan venir, comenzamos con 2 y la gente dijeron nadie va a ir. Y ahora ya tenemos 10 que tienen su permiso y la gente todos saben que pueden ir a buscar su comida ahí. Primero nosotros lo creamos y después vienen la gente. Por favor, cooperen con nosotros y obedezcan la ley. Es muy, muy importante. Voy con un minuto para ver si hay preguntas. Allowing people to sell at this time without a permit has been more than enough period of grace. The law has always been there. He in the city of Passaic have been more than nice. Thank you so much, Diana. I tried. Listen, we're in 2024. I've extended. Other cities stopped immediately after 2022. We have given a lot of grace. We have helped a lot of people, but it's gotten out of hand. We have food trucks coming in from other cities, from other states, selling here illegally without a permit, without code. And I cannot allow that because if someone gets sick, if someone, God forbid, dies, we're responsible to do our job. So please understand, this approach is not callous. It is not arbitrary. We are considering public safety, the fairness of the market for those who are doing things correct, and increased garbage and dumping in our city. So I must be rigid. Being mayor, yes, you want to make the people happy. You want the community to be supportive. But I have a responsibility to do my job and to ensure that we uphold the laws and the norms of the practices in this city, considering the safety and the health and the well-being of our communities and those who visit here. So I'm not telling you to stop. I'm telling you to do it right. Come get your inspection. Come make sure that you have your license and your permit so that we can ensure that we're all progressing in a healthy and responsible way together. Le comparto. Hay muchas ciudades que pararon esa práctica en el 2022. Yo da mucha gracia y mucha oportunidad por compasión y consideración al pueblo, pero ya estamos en el 2024. Ya basta. Mira, yo no quería ser duro porque yo sé que hay muchos que necesitan ayuda a pagar sus biles, están criando sus niños, pasaron por pérdida. Yo sé lo que es perder seres queridos. Yo sé que tú quieres solamente trabajar, pero ya han pasado 2 años. Y si los negociantes están haciendo las cosas correctas, no es justo que tú estés ahí afuera sin permiso, haciendo lo que te dé la gana. Hay algunos que están viniendo de otro estado, de otra ciudad, vienen de Nueva York a poner su cosa aquí y venderlo. Lo compran y lo venden más barato porque no se tienen que importar de inspección o permisos. Ya basta. No lo vamos a tolerar. Como alcalde, obviamente yo quiero ser apoyado, agradar a todos, pero yo tengo una responsabilidad, una obligación a mantener la orden y la ley. Me da mucha gracia, pero ya ha ido 2 años que ha pasado. Comenzando el día 1 de junio, no hay tolerancia. Por favor, entiendan y respeten. No quiero ver personas que le lleven sus camiones y sus carritos, la grúa, porque tú vas a tener que pagar $200, $300. Ahora como alcalde, por la primera vez en la historia de Passaic, yo he cambiado la ley y ahora tenemos 5 diferentes compañías de grúas. Ya no solamente hay una, porque yo no quería que había una para abusar del pueblo y cobrar $500 y $400. Y eso fue una guerra, pero lo logré. Y ahora se tiene que rebajar lo que cuesta, pero todavía te va a costar mucho si te lleva tu carrito la grúa. Por favor, respeten la ley. No vayan afuera sin el permiso. Ven al City Clerk en el 330 de la Passaic Street y pueden sacar su permiso. All right. Let me check out with some of your comments. I see Samantha. You think a zero tolerance policy is effective and positive thing? If they cared about the people, they would be in the streets talking. Samantha, see, that's not fair because we have. I started this last year. We sent code officials, Samantha. We've asked the vendors to come get their permits. We've sent out letters. I've done Facebook Lives. I've invited, our clerk went out with the police and code. I sent them out to show them how to apply. Over a year, and individuals chose not to apply and stay on the street. I've given a year worth of time, 1 full year to do it right. We did exactly what you're saying, but now we need your support. If you know that we've given these vendors every opportunity to do it right, and they haven't listened, then now they have left us with no other alternative but to have a zero tolerance approach. Ciudad de Passaic, es injusto que digan que esto es o cruel o malo, porque por más de 1 año yo he mandado a los oficiales a hablarle a esas personas que apliquen para su permiso, que lo hagan correcto. Hace más de 1 año atrás, más de 2 años atrás, yo abrí 2 locales donde ellos pueden vender legalmente y no fueron. Yo he mandado a la clerk, los oficiales de la policía, que le hablen, que le den la oportunidad para que se inscriben a recibir su permiso. Ellos no han querido. Han seguido sin aplicar por su permiso. Ya ha sido 1 año. Es injusto decir que no tenemos compasión. Si le dimos 1 año que lo haga correctamente y ellos siguen negando la oportunidad y los recursos que le están dando para hacerlo mal, pues no lo han dejado ningún otro alternativo o opción para ser muy rígido y tener una tolerancia de 0. Pero necesitamos su apoyo, pueblo. Es injusto que ustedes lo ataquen a nosotros cuando le estamos dando la oportunidad que hagan las cosas correctas y después de un año, ellos siguen haciéndolo mal. Pues háblenme ustedes. ¿Qué vamos a hacer si alguien se enferma? ¿Qué vamos a hacer si vemos más ratones en la calle porque la gente está vendiendo comida sin permiso, sin inspección y la comida se tira por todos lados? ¿Qué vamos a hacer con los comerciantes si ellos cierran porque dicen aquí no podemos vivir porque aquí permiten la ley, no importa y todo el mundo puede hacer lo que le dé la gana? No pueden tener su bizcocho y comerlo al mismo tiempo como dicen los americanos. Tenemos que ser justos y mantener la orden. Como alcalde yo sé que yo no voy a complacer a todos, pero yo no soy una monedita de oro para que todo el mundo me ame. A mí me dieron un trabajo y yo lo voy a hacer como me mandaron a hacer, correcto y honestamente. Pero también con compasión. 1 año completo le dimos el chance y todavía no están aplicando. Y ahora vienen, no solamente que lo están haciendo, lo están llamando a sus amigos. Vengan de Nueva York, vengan de las otras ciudades, de Newark, de Union y pongan sus camiones que aquí no hay ley. No se confundan. Passaic hay una ley y nosotros vamos a trabajar duro para asegurar que podemos progresar unidos. Look, as I've mentioned, it's not just that some people are selling. They're calling friends from New York, from other cities. Come with your trucks. Come with your food. Sell. There's no order. But what are we going to do when someone gets sick? What are we going to do when there's increased mice and rats because people are selling food and dumping grease everywhere? What are we going to do when the businesses shut down and say it's unfair? I can't compete with individuals who don't have to abide by the law. No. Look, I know this is going to make some people unhappy, but I have a responsibility as mayor. You elected me to do a job, not to make you like me all the time. So I need to be very clear. June 1st, zero tolerance. I would love to address all the questions. I promise you this will not be the only live. We are live at 5, but we will have 2 presentations a week. And I'm going to try to do one in all English and one in Spanish, even though some of you have been learning Spanish for free with my lives. And some of you have been learning English. Algunos de ustedes están aprendiendo inglés gratis cuando yo hago la traducción, because some of you have run into this and say, Mayor, you didn't know the word. I didn't know the word. I learned it with you live. So I appreciate it. But as I was mentioning, I wanted to be clear. This is not an autocratic, arbitrary decision made in a silo. I had discussions. I met with my staff. We've been approaching this for the last 2 years. Some cities stopped this in 2022. It's 2024. We've given every grace, every opportunity to do it right. It's been 2 years. And for the last year, we've been out there. At one time, our officials were grabbing our products. People were calling me saying, please don't destroy my products. I pay for them. We said, don't destroy them. We've given you up to a whole year, and you haven't done it right. Tell the truth to the community. You know where City Hall is. You know where the clerk's office is. You know you can apply for the permit. But you know it's cheaper to go around the law, circumvent the law, and do it in your own way so you can make a profit. But who are you harming? Because some people say no one gets harmed. You say, it's a single mother out there selling food. How about the single mother waitress who's losing money as a waitress in the restaurant because she can't compete? How about the single mother who owns her business and she's selling food and she's trying to do it right and she has a permit and her inspection? Don't we care about them? Algunos dicen, tenga compasión, alcalde. Algunas son madres solteras vendiendo en la calle que no tienen dinero. ¿Y la madre soltera que camarera en el restaurante donde lo está haciendo correcto? No le importamos de ella. ¿Y la madre soltera que es dueña del negocio? Un negociante pequeñito, un negocio pequeñito. Ella no importa. No, si vamos a tener compasión a todos. Y los que están haciendo la cosa correcta merecen apoyo también. Ya tuvieron 1 año para registrarse y hacer lo correcto. Y no lo hicieron. No pueden tomar la administración y la ciudad como un relajo. Tenemos que ser serios. Muchas veces hay un poco de espacio de relajo, pero ahora mismo no. Ahora es tiempo de ser serio. Okay, with that said, the last update I'm going to give you is streets. Every spring we get complaints. Mayor, the streets. Yes, the streets, they take a toll during the winter. You get more potholes. The winter brings more salt on the roads, bigger trucks on the road. Even when it doesn't snow, freezing rain, so you put salt. Some of the roads deteriorate. And then every spring we begin paving. I've shared the flyer online. I'm going to share a picture of it. I'm going to post it up for you all to see. We have a number of roads. We always do the roads this season, starting from April. 3rd Street, Summer Street, Parkview, Orth Street, Donald Ave, Bell Ave, Reland, Hoover, 8th Street, Myrtle Ave, Passaic Street, Exchange, Chestnut, High, Myrtle again, Howe Ave, Henry Street, Market Street, Passaic Ave, Passaic Street, Acreage, Prospect, Pennington Ave, Hope Ave, Main Ave and Acreage, Main Ave and Westerville, Main Ave and Park Ave. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the streets that we're paving. You want me to pave every street? Then support me raising taxes over 8%. Look, I've been fighting hard to keep taxes under 5% after the pandemic. I've been struggling hard to ensure that you get the appropriate amount of services, that we have police, fire, our public service, that we're improving our parks, that we're applying for every grant. I'm looking for a day that we can level our taxes and everyone can expect the same amount every year. It is why I fight to ensure that we don't play smoke and mirrors or kick the can down the road and pretend we're doing a zero so we can hit you 4 years from now with 8%. I say we do 4% or 5%, never more than 5%. I fight hard to keep it under 5%. I look to a day, maybe in the future, where it could be 3 or 2%. But you can't expect to receive services, have roads repaired, ensure a higher quality of life, make sure that we can respond to every emergency, every threat, put out all the equipment, Where's that money coming from? I applied for every grant, but I wanted you to know we are on roads, we're paving, we're filling the potholes. I'm gonna put up the list of all of the roads that will be paved. So ya pasé, las calles yo la mencioné, cada invierno pasa lo mismo. La nieve, cuando está lloviznando hielo, la sal que ponemos en la carretera destruye la carretera y cada primavera la gente dice, la calle está mala y después nosotros lo arreglamos. Millones y millones de dólares arreglando cada año. Pero si desea que yo arregle todas las calles en un año, pues los impuestos tienen que subir 20%, 30%. Y ningún pueblo va a aguantar eso. Yo lucho para mantener los impuestos menos de 5%, porque yo entiendo que es difícil. Y yo hago esto para ser responsable, para que en un futuro los impuestos pueden ser 3% o 2%. Pero no te pongas a creer esa gente ridícula, y yo lo llamo ridículo, que le va a prometer 0 impuestos o que le va a rebajar. ¿Y los servicios? ¿Cómo van a pagar los servicios? Porque hay servicios, hay policía, hay bomberos, hay departamento de servicios públicos, hay recreación, se tiene que arreglar carretera y parques y programas para niños y personas de mayor edad y proveer permisos para construcción y desarrollo. Obviamente tenemos una responsabilidad a proveer servicios. Yo trato de manejar en una manera responsable, pragmático y ético, pero le quiero dejar saber que las calles y la carretera la estamos arreglando millones y millones de dólares y este año recibimos millones de dólares en subsidios porque reconocieron que nuestra administración está trabajando efectivamente. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we had some technical difficulties. I called it. I said earlier we might have some technical difficulties, but we've had a few technical difficulties. We're back on. We were supposed to prepare early, but we had a little bit of an electronic and battery issue. We're good now, ladies and gentlemen. So as I mentioned, those are our updates. We will try to do these twice a week live, and we will go through questions and responses. I'm going to see if I missed any of the questions. Tuve un poco de dificultad técnica, pero ya lo arreglamos. Quería terminar con esos 3 avisos y lo vamos a hacer 2 veces a la semana en vivo para responder al pueblo y responder a preguntas. Otra vez, mira, yo estoy orgulloso de esos que trabajan muy duro para progresar, para hacer su compañía, para hacer su dinero, para abrir una tienda en futuro. Pero ya va 1 año que le estamos diciendo que se inscriben y busquen su permiso. Y no lo estamos haciendo difícil. Estamos dando los permisos. Vengan y buscan sus permisos. También recuerden a poner su basura en contenedores para que no vengan esos animales. Comerciantes, ayúdanos. Hagan su trabajo en una manera responsable. Y a los que no tienen permisos, no boten la comida en la calle o la grasa en la calle. Eso es lo que está atrayendo los animales. Cuando tú la tiras en la calle y esa grasa baja, esos ratones suben de abajo de la calle buscando la comida. Nosotros tenemos una buena ciudad, pero tenemos que trabajar juntos. Guys, when you throw your grease down the drains in the street, that brings rats to come out from under the roads, come out into the street and look for food. We need to be responsible, so let's work together. All right, this is your mayor, Hector Laura, with our brand new initiative of presenting information to the community. In the next 2 weeks, we're going to have guests and visitors to talk about initiatives in the city. Hey, you never know. The next guest here might be you. En las próximas semanas vamos a traer visitas para hablar de la comunidad, oficiales. Quizá la próxima visita va a ser tú. Thank you so very much for joining us in Passaic, and look forward to our next program, What's Brewing Passaic, and we're going to share the latest news in Passaic. God bless. This is your Mayor, Hector Laura. Mayor, other municipalities are canceling. Are you canceling the Memorial Day Parade? I text back, absolutely not. We're going to push forward until we absolutely cannot. This morning I received calls, as many of you experienced, that brief but strong storm that hit us early. It was about 6-something in the morning, and I received texts going, Mayor, it's coming down really hard. Other cities have announced that they're canceling. Are you canceling? And I said, no, this is Passaic. We're going to move forward. Now,
don't rain in Passaic.
I got texts about the weather through a weather group, and they said the storm is supposed to continue. It'll stop and then start again right when we're doing the parade. Around 10 o'clock it's going to come down. I said, absolutely not. We are forged forward. I put an immediate message on Facebook. You know me. Once I put it on Facebook, I'm going to have to follow through. And I said, we will continue unless we absolutely cannot. Now, I admit to you, once I made the commitment, then I started praying. I said, Lord, all I ask is for a small window where it doesn't rain. Just a small window, Lord, where it doesn't rain for the parade. It'd be great to have sun, but I'm just asking for a small window. When we walked down Main Ave and I saw the sun come out, I was reminded that God always responds better and more than we can ever expect. So before we say anything about any speeches, let's begin by giving glory to God and thanking Him. Thanking Him for this day. Thanking Him for this nation, for our freedom, for our flag, and for all those that serve and all those who have made the ultimate sacrifice. You know, I am reminded of a quote from a 16th century essayist. He used to write famous essays, Michael Montaigne. He said, stability of valor and courage is not found in the legs or arms, but rather in the soul and spirit of those who are willing to serve. There is something remarkably amazing and inspiring of those who are compelled to put their lives on the line for others. Those who would respond to a call in disregard of their own safety and life, leaving their families behind to fight so that we may be free. Today is a solemn day, for there is a day to honor those who serve presently and those who have served before. But today is a solemn day where we remind ourselves that freedom came at a cost, that many laid their lives down so that we may enjoy those most sacred liberties that we exercise every day. That though we may not all be in agreement, we may not be uniform in our beliefs or our approaches to life, but we are united with a common vision that a greater nation is a benefit to all. It is because brave men and women, here and abroad, were willing to lay their lives down. There's a saying that I once read attributed to an anonymous writer. Nobody really knows who said it, but when I've read it, it stayed with me, and I want to be sure not to take credit for it. It said that on Memorial Day, it must be the most expensive day in America. Every hot dog, every hamburger, every activity, every event, every flag, every route put together, every single gathering, no matter its cost, whether it was $1 for a hot dog or a few bucks for the punch that we drink or the more interesting beverages that some may choose, that it cost lives. Lives of sons that would never see their mothers again. Lives of daughters who would never see their parents. Lives of siblings that would never see their brothers and sisters. Lives of spouses that left, embraced with hug and compassion and love, saying, I'll see you soon, to never come back. Lives of parents who had hoped with an amazing and remarkable faith that if they would not return, this nation would remember them and their children. Today we stand here freely. We assemble without fear of persecution, without concern of authority telling us, get off this land. We raise up our voices, sometimes in support and sometimes in objections of policies or beliefs that we want to express. Why? Because we are free to do so. So regardless of what is said or what is seen, I profess publicly that we live in the greatest nation in the world, a nation that is a beacon of hope, a bright shining light for all people around the world, that they may come and see what democracy is, see that dream of a more perfect union, an ideal that we strive to achieve every single day. Are we there yet? No. But every single day we come closer. Over centuries we have fought to try to meet that ideal, and we will continue to do so. Yo le doy gracias a Dios por esta gran nación que nos ha dado la oportunidad a muchos de nosotros y nuestros padres a venir aquí, a vivir libre y a proveer un mejor futuro para la próxima generación. Hoy nosotros recordamos esos que sacrificaron su vida con valentía, con amor, con compasión para su prójimo, creyendo que su sacrificio no iba a ser en vano, pero una semilla planteada en esa nación que va a crecer y producir fruto que honra a Dios y da libertad a los demás. Y hoy, aunque no somos uniformes en nuestras creencias o cómo vivimos, somos unidos con una visión común para una mejor nación para todos. I share this from the bottom of my heart, and I thank you for the opportunity to be your mayor and to once again honor those who have given their lives for our nation. Thank you so very much. As it is that the program, let me see. It goes on. Obviously, I want to begin with congratulating everyone that has graduated. Those of you who graduated, I know it was a tough year, but you made it through. Those of you who will graduate, keep going forward. I know you're going to make it. Great job. We look forward to participating in as many graduation ceremonies as possible. For those of you who are participating in moving up ceremonies, you're transitioning from middle school to high school, from 6th grade to middle school, or from different grades, whether it's our littlest kids, pre-K and kindergarten, going into 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, we congratulate you. And for those of you who may have to take some classes in the summer, I understand. Trust me, I understand. Sometimes it's a blessing in disguise. It might keep you away from some of those activities that perhaps you didn't need to get involved with in the summer, and it keeps you fresh with the subject so you start to fall up just a little further ahead. I know you'd rather spend all day at the beach. Sometimes having to go do those classes could be a blessing. Again, trust me, I know. So I'll let you consider this. Summer school isn't always the worst thing. Some summer school kids end up becoming mayors. So, I just want to share that with you. But again, I was so blessed to participate in some of the graduations already. I look forward to some of the graduations that are coming, and I want to let you know about some of the activities that we'll have this weekend. It is the goal to go live around 5. We're still working out some of the bugs, hopefully live at 5 on Fridays, and maybe one day a week we'll go very early, maybe 6 a.m., wake up Passaic. We'll see. We'll let you know what's going on. But we want to keep you informed. Very quickly, let me just say that in Spanish. Hola a todos. Gracias por conectarse con nosotros aquí en la ciudad de Passaic. Yo soy su alcalde, Héctor Lora. Es mi deseo tratar de traer la información y comunicación por lo menos los viernes después de las 5. Lo quiero hacer a las 5, pero a veces tenemos algunos retos tecnológicamente. Pero estamos trabajando y estamos llegando ahí. Le quiero dar algunos anuncios, compartir iniciativas que vamos a tener en la ciudad, actividades y también lo que ocurre en esta temporada. Estamos en junio. Quiero felicitar a todos los que se graduaron. Felicidades, buen trabajo. Yo sé que no fue un año fácil, pero ustedes han hecho a sus padres tener mucho orgullo, le han traído muchos gozos a todos sus parientes, sus seres queridos. Buen trabajo, estoy muy orgulloso de ustedes. A los que se van a graduar, los felicito. Estoy lleno de esperanza para participar en sus ceremonias donde puedo. Y algunos que tienen que tomar las clases en el verano, yo sé que no es fácil, prefieren estar en la playa, pero a veces es bueno tomar clases en el verano. Lo mantiene especialmente en la mente, los materiales frescos en la mente y están preparados para septiembre. Y le comparto que algunos alumnos de los veranos llegan a ser alcaldes, pues yo puedo entender. Hay a veces que ocurren muchas cosas y necesitan un poco más de tiempo, pero estoy muy orgulloso de ustedes y sé que van a lograr mucho éxito. También le quiero compartir otra vez de todas las cosas que van a ocurrir con esta nueva temporada que ocurren en el año y algunas iniciativas. So I wanted to share some information. While I'm trying to share this, I just wanted to get an opportunity to make sure that we can share this on other pages. So just give me 1 second to make sure. And then I'm going to go right into all of our updates. So first I'm going to share it to some of my pages. So just give me a little bit of a second as I try to make sure that I can share it specifically to our City Hall page and to my mayor's page. And then if some of you can share it to some of the group pages, that makes it a little easier to get as much communication out as possible. I would really appreciate your help. Thank you so much for always being so helpful and making sure that as many people as possible can communicate. I'll also try to answer some questions at the end, so I just ask you to bear with me as I try my best to get as much information out to the community. And I wanted to begin with this announcement again. Live around 5 on Fridays. We're hoping to go live at 5, but we're still working out some of the kinks. And the goal is to try to get all of the information out to you before the weekend, and maybe pick one day on the week and start very early, maybe 6 o'clock in the morning, and let you know what's going to happen throughout the week. But again, the goal is to continue communication, making you aware of what's going on in the city. First, I wanted to share, today is Flag Day, so you will see our beautiful, amazing, wonderful flag. You'll see it down Armory Park on Main Ave and on Passaic Avenue by Third War Memorial Park. We put up our flags on Veterans Day, Memorial Day, and days where we really honor our patriotism, national holidays that really look to instill in our youth appreciation for all of the work and all of the sacrifices and all that goes into having a free nation, a democratic process, the opportunity to speak freely. I always say we're not uniform in our beliefs or our approach, but we should always be united with a common vision of success for our nation and success for all. So happy Flag Day to everyone. Hopefully you have your flag out. Hoy es el Día de la Bandera y van a ver nuestras banderas en la Main Avenue, en la Passaic Avenue, donde celebramos nuestra libertad, la democracia o la democracia. Creo que se dice así en español. Yo nací y crecí aquí, so a veces se me escapan 2 o 3 palabras, pero practico todos los días. Yo sé que es muy importante no olvidar el español. Le agradezco a todos que se unen con nosotros y especialmente ustedes que me corrigen, porque a veces se me van 2 o 3 palabras. So comenzamos ahí. Hoy es el Día de la Bandera. Si la van a ver en la ciudad, quizás la dejamos para el fin de semana y después lo vamos a bajar. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to share some of the initiatives. I'm excited to share that this weekend, tomorrow, we're going to be celebrating Juneteenth in a collaborative effort with the NAACP, and our Passaic African American Celebration Committee will also join in. So it will be Juneteenth. We're going to have our 5th annual City of Passaic fireworks at dusk. Nosotros vamos a unirnos con la NAACP. Es una organización que representa los derechos de personas de comunidades de minoría o de colores. Y nosotros vamos a unir a celebrar el día 19 de junio. Lo vamos a hacer este fin de semana porque muchas organizaciones lo van a hacer este fin de semana. As you can see, and I'll show the video again, you'll see some of the fireworks that we had in previous years. I think we were like the first city to do fireworks in Juneteenth. I know we were among the first in the entire state to declare it a federal holiday. And we're so excited that we were able to do that. And again, we're going to continue to celebrate and honor Juneteenth. It is now a federal holiday. It actually became a statewide holiday, and then it became a federal holiday. So we're extremely excited to have been at the forefront of this. And we're going to partner up with the NAACP. A shout out to Sherry Greer, the president of the NAACP. Also, Mr. Sean Allen, former president of the NAACP, the entire NAACP group. All those who come together. I know that Dr. Love often brings a large group from the Passaic African American Celebration Committee. So we're excited to all join together. It'll be at the park, at Third War Memorial Park from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. There'll be vendors and raffles, spoken word, dance, arts and crafts, food, live entertainment, and community resources. And from 7 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. at Passaic City Hall, we're going to have a cookout, hot dogs, hamburgers, and then fireworks. There will also be beverages, refreshments. So please come out and join us. We'll have music, and we're very excited to have you participate with us. Este sábado mañana nosotros vamos a celebrar el día 19 de junio, o el día que muchas veces se llama el día de emancipación o libertad, the Day of Jubilee, or Emancipation Day, que reconoce cuando todos los esclavos fueron libertados o fueron libres en esta nación. Juneteenth, which recognizes the day where all slaves were set free. Obviously, when there was the proclamation and the declaration by President Abraham Lincoln to free all slaves, initially it was dealing with non-Confederate unions or non-Confederate states. And until it actually reached Texas, Galveston, Texas, and it was 2 years later after his announcement. I'm trying to say this from memory, but I ask you to look up Juneteenth. 2 years later that individuals were made aware in the Confederate States, that they were free, that everyone was free. And this commemorates a day that all individuals were declared free in the United States of America. So we ask you to come. You'll get history, education, and a wonderful time to join together in community. I want to once again highlight the NAACP, Sherry Greer, and all those who are working hard to put the event together at Third War Memorial Park, and thank everyone who has joined together with us to celebrate. And it culminates or finishes with fireworks right here at City Hall, like we did last year. That's a video of last year and the years prior, where we did fireworks right over the city, right on State Street and Passaic Street, across from Aspen Place, a few blocks up from Columbia, right here in front of City Hall. So we ask you to join us. I think you're going to have a wonderful time as we celebrate Juneteenth as a city. And again, I think we're among the only ones that started with fireworks and continue to do it every single year. We're extremely excited. This is our fifth annual. As I mentioned, we were among the first. This is the NAACP fire. We were among the very first to have ever declared it a complete city holiday, a municipal holiday. Then we did the dedication on Columbia and Passaic Street, where we dedicated the corner Juneteenth and African American Way. And then we began our celebration every year with an activity in City Hall, and then we partnered with the NAACP and other organizations, and we do fireworks. So we invite you to come out 1 o'clock to 5 at Third War Memorial Park, and then from 7:30 to 9 p.m. right here at City Hall for the fireworks. Vamos a tener fuego artificial de las 7:30 hasta las 9 de la noche aquí delante del ayuntamiento. Las actividades van a comenzar en el parque que nosotros llamamos el Parque de los Gansos o el Parque de los Patos, Third War Memorial Park. De 1 a 5 van a tener la comida, poesía, van a tener actividades, danza, historia, van a hablar, va a ser algo muy bello con la NAACP, o la Organización de Avanzar los Derechos de Personas de Color. Estamos muy felices a unir con la presidenta Sherry Greer y todo lo que han trabajado, igual con el presidente antes, Sean Allen, y también con el Dr. Terrence Love, concejal de la Ciudad de Passaic, la organización de africanoamericanos que hacen su desfile. Lo invitamos a todos que participen mañana, va a ser algo muy lindo y bello. I also wanted to share with everyone, our spray pads are officially open. You have seen them around the city. It is that season. Spray pads, summer concerts are going to begin in July. I believe the first one is July 11th. We're very excited. Don't quote me on that date, but I think it's the first one. And then we're going to have one every single week. We also have our movies in the park. We've had drive-in movies, which are a huge success, and we want you to participate. But our official spray pads, the water is on. Our spray pads are open. I'm also excited to share that we received $2.5 million from the state to create the very first ever all-water park. We're still excited about that. It will be the Passaic Pirates of the Caribbean Park, because they're two pirate ships, and water will come splashing out and have slides and everything. We're so excited. It's going to be on Harrison Avenue. I'm not sure. I'm still checking with the movie theaters if I'm allowed to call it the Passaic Pirates of the Caribbean Park. But to be honest, pirates were in the Caribbean before Johnny Depp. I don't even think Johnny Depp is from the Caribbean. So if they lay claim, we might have to fight it out in court. But I've seen him fight, and I'm not looking to mess with Jack Sparrow, because that man knows how to fight. But anyway, I am excited about it, and I think you guys are going to love it. It's going to be great for the kids, especially the proximity to school number 10, the Dayton Avenue Complex, school number 9. A lot of the kids in that area don't have a lot in terms of water amenities, and this will be a full all-water park. In the fall, it will also turn into a regular park because the slides will still be there, just the water will be turned off. But for the summer, I think it's going to be one of the best parks anywhere in the city, and we're really excited about it. Le comparto que ya comenzamos con las aguas en el parque para la actividad, ya está caliente, estamos muy felices para los niños que pueden participar. Estaba compartiendo que recibimos $2.5 millones para desarrollar un parque entero de agua, con 2 barcos. Yo lo quiero llamar el Parque de Passaic de los Piratas del Caribe, como la película con Johnny Depp. Yo no sé si me van a pelear en la corte, pero los Piratas del Caribe existían antes de Johnny Depp. So yo estoy muy feliz que ellos van a poder darnos ese dinero porque aplicamos y lo recibimos en competencia con todas las otras ciudades. Lo que no saben, Hay 564 ciudades en el estado de Nueva Jersey y nosotros estamos recibiendo mucho porque ellos están reconociendo el progreso y el trabajo y el labor que estamos haciendo en la ciudad de Passaic. So I'm very excited about that. There are 564 municipalities in the state of New Jersey. Everyone competes for funds, but I'm so proud of our team, our council, our representatives, everyone who works so hard together, lining up with my vision because we've been receiving historic funding to continue to develop our city, and I'm very excited about this. Also, I wanted to say in Spanish about the theaters. También estamos entusiasmados a anunciar que ya van a comenzar los conciertos en el parque. Por favor, salgan a apoyar porque esos conciertos, mira, como decimos en el Caribe, es una chulería. Esa cosa es maravillosa. O esos son de los eventos más maravillosos de la ciudad. La gente baila, a veces los relajamos, a los que no sabemos bailar, pero a veces el ritmo ahí lo da y lo movemos un poquito. Tenemos personas de mayor de edad, chicos, muchas familias. Lo invitamos a todos, vamos a comenzar en julio. También el cine afuera, películas en el parque, a veces los cines en el carro, como esos tiempos de antes, para ustedes que quieren ser románticos, con sus palomitas ahí, su popcorn en su carrito, dándose su besito, no lo vamos a molestar. Pero además déjalo ahí, además los besitos, porque vienen familias, ¿ok? Estamos muy felices. We're going to have drive-in theaters. I mentioned like in those days of the 50s, those drive-in theaters where you can get romantic, get your popcorn inside. Maybe you do the little, put your arm around, a kiss, but leave it there. Because we have families. It's a family-friendly event, all right? We don't want anything additional, but we want you to have a good time. So come out and see the movies. I also wanted to share with you our food truck row on Madison Avenue, Madison and Hope. Our food truck row is complete. We have 10 full food trucks. Tenemos ya 10 camiones en la Madison y la Hope que han venido y se inscribieron ya para vender comida y productos. Estamos muy felices. Out of them, we have Viva Birria Tacos. We also have Tacos El Pechis LLC. We have Tres Gallos Delicios. Tres Gallos Delicios. If you don't know what that is, go to Hope so you can find it out. The Wicked Waffle Stick. Wicked Waffle Stick. LLC. Wicked Waffle Stick. We also have Mariscos Sinaloa El Compa Moy. That is seafood from Sinaloa. So come check it out, seafood. Speedy Tacos. That means they come out fast. They also have Antojitos de mi Tierra, which is really, I think you call those appetizers. Appetizers or fried food, little appetizers from my land. Apatizos or Antojitos de mi Tierra. Appetizers from my land. They also have Uy Chef Pizza out there. And then Aplatados en Hojas, which is really leaf wrapped food. In Caribbean islands, we often wrap whether meat products, potato products, Yucatan, and mixed vegetables in this leaf product, which becomes delicious once cooked. So you can check it out. So we're very excited that we have 10 trucks on Food Truck Row, Madison and Hope. Go by and check it out. Estamos muy felices que ya tenemos 10 camiones listo. Ya yo hablé los nombres, solo compartí de antojitos, a birria tacos, a pizza, a desayuno americano de los waffles en palitos, mariscos, tenían comida de Sinaloa, de todo lado. Queremos que pasen y prueben esa comida. Estamos muy felices. With that state, I also wanted to share that Garibaldi Plaza is taking applications. We've had a lot of people apply. We're very excited. Come by and apply. If you want to sell products, we want to help you and facilitate the process. So come by and apply at our clerk's office. Si quiere aplicar para vender sus productos en Garibaldi Plaza, que está en la Monroe Street, entre la Parker y la calle Primera o la Dayan Avenue, pueden venderla ahí. Vamos a tener muchas actividades allá. Por favor, aplica, que estamos muy, muy felices. And then lastly, I wanted to share with you that there will be a community meeting on the Passaic River cleanup. We are invited to join the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, or the EPA, We'll be hosting a meeting, a virtual meeting. I'll be posting it online so you can participate in the Passaic River cleanup conversation. We want to see our Passaic River cleaned up. We want it beautiful as we continue to develop our east side, especially when you consider waterfront property has become coveted throughout the state of New Jersey. We're excited to see it for our sister counties, Hudson County and Newark. We love seeing all the beautiful development by Hoboken right in front of the water. But we have our Passaic River, and we're excited that we see record investment in our east side, and we're excited about the cleanup there. I don't know if we'll be fishing there anytime soon. I would not recommend it. Definitely not swimming there. But I'm excited to say we have been kayaking, boating, and I expect a lot more of that. So we're very happy. Le invito a una reunión virtual. Va a ser el día 20 de junio, jueves de 6 a 8 de la noche. Yo voy a compartir la información. Entonces vamos a hablar del dinero que está disponible para limpiar el río de Passaic, considerando todo el desarrollo que hacen alante de propiedades que está enfrente de un río o agua. Yo llamo el río de downtown el mini malecón. El mini malecón. Ahora nada más necesitamos un poco de chimis, frituras, choniqueques, empanadas, todo eso por ahí, pero el mini malecón donde vamos a traer negocios y actividades, aunque no creo que vamos a pescar, no vamos a sacar mariscos de ahí, no lo recomiendo, eso va a tener muchas décadas de limpiar, pero sí tuvimos oportunidad de subir barcos, disfrutar de la agua, no nadar, pero tener actividades para nuestros jóvenes y con ahora este dinero que vamos a traer para la ciudad, para el condado, para todo el área, vamos a poder limpiar el río de Passaic y disfrutar muchas actividades ahí. Ahí están fotos cuando llevamos familias y estamos disfrutando en kayaking. Yo creo que así es que se dice en español con un acento. Kayaking. Eso es lo que me dice mi esposa cuando yo hablo mucho en la casa. Cállate. No, cállate, que ella me dice, no kayaking. Okay, with that stated, I want to see if there are any questions that I can answer for you, but I want to thank you guys for joining in with us. I'm going to leave this up so you can participate, and any questions that you may have later on, we'll try to answer them. But I also wanted to share a few initiatives in our city as we go into the summer months, and obviously children are on vacation. We remind you, please sign them up to our Passaic Recreation Program. Our Passaic Recreation Programs become so very important for the youth because we don't want them to be stuck at home all day. We definitely don't want them on phones and computers all day. We want them to be part of our sports program, part of our dance program, our cooking programs. We have computer dojo. We have so many activities. We want your children involved. Visit our website, cityofpassaic.com. Go to the recreation page. We want to make sure you can sign up for baseball. We have pickleball. Did you know that pickleball is the fastest growing sport in America? Ladies and gentlemen, in America. That's verified. And we have pickleball courts on Howard Avenue, so go by and check them out. They're selling the pickleball racket and the balls for like $10 at Costco. I bought some. I took my kids yesterday and we had a great time. Queremos que ustedes se inscriben considerando que ya vienen las vacaciones de los niños en nuestros programas de recreación. No queremos que ellos se queden en la casa o que se queden conectados en su teléfono y sus computadoras. Nuestros programas de recreación son muy diversos. Tenemos deportes, tenemos actividades de cocinar, tenemos baile, tenemos actividades de aprender a manejar computadoras y mucho, mucho más. Por favor, inscríbenos, o escriben los niños, porque lo deseamos que ellos participen. Chequen nuestra página en el internet, ciudadepassaic.com o cityofpassaic.com, en nuestra página de recreación, y nosotros le vamos a compartir toda la información en temas de la participación de los niños. All right, with that stated, I'm very excited to let you know that today we had a resource fair downstairs. We were working with Assemblyman Gary Scher and the County of Passaic. Thank you to all of the county commissioners and the County of Passaic. We had the Board of Social Services, Senior Services, Workforce Development in order to help people get trained how to work, fill out resumes, and find open positions. We had our city clerk who's still looking to hire people to work at the voting polls. $300 a day, people. $300 a day. Sign up for the next election. Talking about elections. Are you registered to vote? If not, please register to vote. We need you to participate in the voting. Your votes do make a difference. I know that over the years, some people become cynical and jaded. I share this to you as a mayor. First, objectively. Doesn't matter what your party is or who you support. When you come out and vote, those numbers affect the resources our city gets. The more votes that come out, the more they pay attention to our city, from the state, from the federal government. Please sign up and vote. Register to vote. If you're registered to vote and you haven't voted, please vote. We need you to participate. We need to raise our voters or our votes up. We need to show that we are engaged and we are involved. You know, I often hear people, and I don't want to get too much on a soapbox. They say, I don't like politics. But I think that only applies to voting, because those same people will talk about politics at the barbershop, at the salon. They will post about politics. They will comment on threads. They do everything but vote. If you don't like politics, I understand, but that shouldn't keep you from voting. Vote. Vote your protest. Vote what you support, but vote. Please come out and vote. Now, not so objective. Probably a little expedient. I want you to come out and vote because I want to get votes, but because it makes it easier for me to fight for things for our city. See, when I go to the state, or I speak to a congressman, or I speak to county commissioners, and I tell them, Passaic needs this, they know how many people come out and vote. As your mayor, I work every day. I really want to make a difference in our city, but I need your help. Now, I appreciate when you reach out to me, when you give me your opinion or your criticism, and I accept that. That's part of the job. But I also need your help. Your votes give me the ammunition, the political capital to stand firm and demand resources for our city. Without your vote, I can't do this job. Without your support, without showing the strength of our city, it's very hard to make compelling arguments why our city needs to receive more resources. I say that just to remind you, please remain involved. Who you want to vote for is your business. But the actual act of voting affects us all, and we need our entire city to come out. All right, estaba hablando que nuestra secretaria de la ciudad todavía está empleando personas que trabajen para las elecciones, $300 al día. Les recuerdo, por favor, regístrese a votar, y si está registrado, por favor, vota. Su voto verdaderamente cuenta y marca una diferencia. ¿Por quién tú vas a votar? Eso tiene que ver contigo y eso es personal. Yo deseo tu voto, yo quiero tu voto, yo pido tu voto, pero eso para otro día. En tema del voto, eso es personal. Pero el proceso de votar y el hecho que todos votemos impacta los recursos que vamos a recibir. Para mí, como alcalde, cuando yo estoy luchando y trabajando para recibir más recursos para nuestra ciudad, las personas con quien yo estoy hablando, sea congresistas, asambleístas, senadores o comisionados del condado, ellos saben cuánta gente vota en Passaic. Y si nosotros no salimos, eso le afecta nuestros recursos. Mira, yo he oído de personas que dicen, a mí no me gusta la política. Yo a veces no lo creo, porque ellos hablan de política en el salón, en la casa, en las redes, critican, ponen ahí su mensaje. Lo que no les gusta es votar, pero le encanta todo lo demás de la política. Yo le pido, por favor, si te gusta la política o no, eso no tiene que ver con votar. Vota tu protesta o vota en apoyo de lo que tú quieres apoyar, pero vota. Pues cuando tú votas, esos números se quedan grabados y me ayuda a mí como alcalde. Y quizá en el futuro, a tu hijo cuando esté en la posición o tu hija cuando esté en la posición, para ellos luchar y recibir más para la ciudad. Le pido eso personal. So that's just a personal plea as I continue here. Thank you, Mrs. Brown. Thank you, Franklin Irizarry, for joining. I do not live in the city of Passaic. However, I follow this guy. Oh, thank you for following. Frankie, I'm going to follow you so we can follow each other. That'd be pretty cool. All right, remember, tomorrow, Juneteenth celebration. The water parks are on. The food trucks are full. Go stop by Madison and Hope. Grab some delicious foods. Get excited about joining Thursday the 20th for our Passaic River cleanup conversation. And as always, it is a pleasure to join with you. Thank you so much. This is your Friday update from the City of Passaic. I'm your mayor, Hector Laura. See you next week.
Good evening. On behalf of the governing body of the City of Passaic, we welcome you to the June 6, 2024 City Council meeting. In accordance with Chapter 231, Public Laws of 1975, adequate notice of this meeting was provided by resolution of the Municipal Council adopted on June 13, 2023, setting forth the schedule of meetings for the year 2023-2024. Said notice was published and posted on the City Hall Bulletin Board by the Office of the City Clerk. Please be further advised this meeting will be conducted in person. The Zoom stream provided is for viewing only and is offered to the public as a convenience. On May 22nd, 2024, public notice and Zoom instructions for this meeting were published in the Herald News and posted on the City of Passaic website at www.cityofpassaic.com. Council agendas. Instructions are also available on the last page of this agenda. Please be guided accordingly.
Roll call, please, ma'am.
Councilman Monk? Councilman Love?
Present.
Councilwoman Mello?
Present.
Councilman Schwartz?
Present.
Councilman Garcia? Councilwoman Colon Montañez?
Present.
And Council President Scheer.
President, should we all please rise?
Heavenly Father, we want to thank you, Lord, for allowing us to meet this evening. Lord, we ask you to please guide us in the decisions that will take place this evening. In your beloved name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Council President, if I may,
Mr. Mayor.
gentleman who has worked on initiatives with the city in the past recently lost his mother, Mr. Howard Helfgott, and he had reached out just to let us know. Can we have a moment of silence for his family and all those that have had losses this month?
Thank you, Mayor. Moment of silence, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
For those of you who are joining at home, thank you for being here. For those of you presently, as much, if not even more so. If you do not have a copy of our agenda, they're available to you online at the city's website. You'll find all the materials necessary to understand the goings on, the procedures for this evening, because you'll be receiving the same material that the council has in fact received by the administration in terms of making its best judgments on behalf of the people and citizens and residents of the great city of Passaic. At this time, we're up to Roman numeral 4 in our agenda, Mayor's update. Mayor, it's going to be a long evening for you, I think so, and hopefully a pleasant one.
Hopefully. Council President, members of the City Council, department heads, and all residents, I want to share, and with great joy, on behalf of my administration, the entire City Council, and our city, as we congratulate the DAV, American Legion, and VFW on their grand opening that occurred on May 25th, having centralized services for all veterans, which is going to make it a lot more effective to connect individuals to benefits, resources, and opportunities, again, in one centralized location. Also, I want to thank everyone that participated in our Memorial Day Parade ceremony, which occurred on Monday, May 27th, and that went extremely successful. Thank you, council members and representatives from the county and our entire community that came out. Though some municipalities canceled, we forged forward, understanding the potential weather conditions, but we are very excited to have continued this ceremony in our city. Council President, members of City Council, on Friday, May 31st, we had our 85th annual Youth in Government Day. We thank the council members that spent the day with the youth. Over 85 students came and participated on our 85th annual Youth in Council, so that was appropriate. They shouted our attorneys, our engineers, different department heads, our police chief, our fire chief. They got exposed to government, to career opportunities, and we were happy to have them participate. As always, it's one of the best initiatives in the city. And then they write sometimes to the council members and to those who participated after they do their reports back in school, their appreciation. So thank you to all that participated. This Saturday, June 1st, we began our zero tolerance for street vendors without permits. And that has been successful. Our police officers, our health officers have been going around. We have gotten a number of calls on behalf of this initiative from business owners, thanking us for it. Our city clerk, Weatherly Frias, reported that within the first week, we had over 60 businesses come off the streets and ask, how do I get a permit? And about 10 that actually applied. So we continue to encourage individuals. It has not resolved it 100%, but it has gone a long way. Again, our goal is not to impede individuals from going out there and selling merchandise or products, but to do it correctly, again, for a public health concern. Food that may be tainted or is not inspected could cause issues for seniors, children, those who have autoimmune conditions or have their immune system compromised, and just the general public. And if we can't hold you accountable, obviously that makes it very difficult for the city to back any of the products sold. We had some instances where individuals were selling seafood in the street and not refrigerated, meaning we didn't know how long they were out. And there are strict guidelines when it comes to seafood. So obviously this approach will be beneficial, but we encourage everyone to apply. We have different locations and we will facilitate the process. I want to thank our police chief, our police department, and our health officers who have been going out also through a grant of our UEZ, Urban Enterprise Zone. We were able to purchase vermin-free garbage bins. Vermin-free. We say vermin because oftentimes when individuals throw their garbage out in the city only in bags, raccoons, opossums, rats, feral cats, so many animals can come and open up the garbage. This attracts other animals. We got concerned for our commercial district, and we decided to put our heads together and come up with an innovative idea. We researched and found specific containers that are more conducive for keeping the garbage in and much harder for vermin or for the lids to open up. We asked the state if we would be approved to utilize some of the funds for our urban enterprise zone, which covers our commercial districts, in order to try to implement and provide these bins. And they approved it. So we were able to purchase these bins at no cost to the taxpayer, and we will continue to give them out to our businesses in these districts. On Monday, July 8th through the 26th, we begin our Junior Police Academy run by our police department, where fifth graders could sign up and they go through a week of police academy training. It's one of the more popular summer initiatives. We're extremely excited to remind parents that are watching or those who will see later on online to have your children register beforehand, because those spots get filled up very quickly. Also on June 11th, we invite the public, our elected officials, and everyone who chooses to be part of our Bicycle Master Plan virtual public meeting. Please go to our website to see the link where we'll present all of the potential routes for new bike routes. There can be comments regarding the existing bike routes, whether we should expand the initiative, reduce the initiative, and then you may be able to receive some education, as I would, in terms of what are the requirements and how do we determine what streets are conducive for bike routes, wider streets that still allow for traffic, as well as an additional lane for the bikes, obviously. But we do invite the public, as we always have done whenever pushing forward with an initiative that will impact our city as a whole. We want to hear from the public. So we invite all of the community members to join us. June 15th will be our Juneteenth festival, and again, fireworks. I was boast the City of Passaic under this administration was the first city in the state of New Jersey to provide it as a citywide holiday. The state followed up on it and then became a national holiday. We also are among the only ones that do actual fireworks for Juneteenth. This year, we'll be partnering up again with the NAACP, the Passaic African American Celebration and Parade Committee, to celebrate Juneteenth. I remind it is a holiday for City Hall and the City of Passaic, and this was on the news. We were the first city to establish it, so we were proud to do so on this holiday. Monday, July 8th through July 19th, our City Planning Institute program begins for students from 6th grade through high school to learn about planning. Look, one of the careers that we continue to present to our youth is urban planning, which is an actual career where you get to determine or work on initiatives and projects to decide how the city will be designed, whether there will be parks, passive recreation, bike lanes, where commercial areas can be designated. This is all a wonderful opportunity for the youth. It's led through our business administrator, who is a remarkable planner and just one of the most brilliant minds in this area. And these youth youth get exposed to every aspect of potential careers in planning, urban planning, and being part of designing, being an architect, engineer, and otherwise. So we get extremely excited about that. We've received some recent grants. I want to be cognizant because today will be a long meeting, but we recently received New Jersey Department of Community Affairs Local Recreation Improvement Grant, $70,000 to do the rubberized surface on Colonel Johnson Park by Pulaski Park. This is great news because we were prepared to pay for it, but we applied for a grant, as has been the initiative announced over 5 years ago, that the goal is to have all of the surfaces in all the parks go rubberized in order to reduce incidents of injury and obviously make them more conducive for inclusive recreation, meaning children with special needs joining with what we often refer to as neurotypical children, so everyone can enjoy the park together. So we're extremely excited about that. We received the New Jersey Clean Communities Council grant, $104,000 in order to purchase recycling bins, as we've been giving them out for free for the community. We've seen an increase in recycling and tonnage, which is beneficial to the city and obviously to the environment as a whole. So this additional $100,000 is of great benefit. We have received the confirmation of the $2.5 million from the state to create the very first ever all water park on Harrison Ave downtown. We're extremely excited on Harrison Street at Colonel Johnson Park for the children, especially in proximity to our elementary schools, school number 10, obviously school number 9, the Dayton Avenue complex. For some children, it isn't a reality that they're going to travel for the summer. They may not make it at Disney World. They may not even leave the state. But being able to get millions of dollars in grant funding that would have gone to other cities, but they recognized the city and gave it to us to provide these ideal opportunities for recreation and enhanced amenities will give our children the opportunity that when they go back to school in September and get asked what you do for the summer, they can draw pictures of enjoying the festivals, the new parks, and all of the additions that come at no cost to our taxpayers in the city. So we're extremely excited about that.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes. As I was stating, Council President, members of the public, residents, and all those watching, just over the last month, we received $6 million in order to mitigate flooding conditions at Van Houten Avenue and the Benson Court. We also received additional funding for the Uniting at Pulaski Park and Dundee Island, moving steps closer to turning our downtown park into one of the most beautiful parks, not just in Passaic County, but in Bergen County. So we continue to receive historic funds. We receive NJDOT local transportation project funds to create more ADA compliant additions to our sidewalks, to our parks. ADA, Americans with Disability Acts. It's basically creating access for those in wheelchairs and those who often have to navigate coming into some of our facilities and need a little bit more assistance. I want to congratulate our new appointed judges for the City of Passaic. We have returning judge, Judge Bautista, and our brand new judge, I'm so excited, will be Clark Michelle. Kesia Clark Michelle will be our new judge. She's replacing our former judge, Rhonda Catronio, who was promoted to Superior Court after having her very first opportunity to be a judge here. So we shared to Judge Kesia Clark Michelle that this is her first opportunity becoming a judge. Good things happen in Passaic when you begin here, so we look forward to her rise, just not anytime soon. And then we look forward to Judge Randazzo, who many of you have been familiar with. He has one of the longest serving times as a judge, an extremely experienced judge throughout the state of New Jersey. We're excited because we feel our courts are moving in the right direction over the last few years, and we're extremely proud to bring them on. Thank you, Council President, members of the City Council, and the community for giving this opportunity for this update. I also wanted to share that all of our recreation opportunities are available to the public. Please visit the website because the summer programs are signing up right now. Thank you.
Mayor, you mentioned that in the past 2 weeks since our last meeting, You reported on $10 million coming into the city's coffers. If you need more time to speak, Mayor, it seems to be inuring to the city's benefit.
We are grateful for the relationships that we enjoy and for the work of this city council and the government. The state has recognized so much of the efforts to ensure that we are working in the most pragmatic manner with the resources available to be equitable and see enhancements in all of our parks, investments in all of our schools, infrastructure, repairs, and of course, anything additional in the amenities for our children and our families, considering all of the demographics from seniors to some of our youngest residents. I think that we are going through a time where we have a lot to be grateful for, and I want to commend this council for their responsible approach in terms of legislation and ordinances. I want to thank our council president, his role as an assemblyman, and again, in general, to our business administrator, all of our professionals, but collectively, we've been able to maintain good relationships with our governors, with our county officials, with our federal representatives, and it has paid specific using dividends. In this case, we have been able to capitalize on those great relationships and good government to bring quality policies, programs, initiatives, and progress to the residents of this great city. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Questions for the mayor? Sir, thank you. Thank you very much. I believe next we have the mayor's presentation on the 2024 preliminary budget presentation.
Fortunately, we have our head of finance, Omar Garcia, and our business administrator has a presentation.
Do I need to do this by resolution, Mr. Fernandez? This is not the hearing. This is just the presentation, correct?
This is the transmittal of the budget. This is for the council to see what it is. The intent is that we will introduce the budget at the next council meeting. The council members, as always, have the opportunity to send any of the questions they'd like, and we present it at the next meeting. So this is the preliminary and transmitting of the budget formally to the city council for.
So is the council formally accepting the receipt?
Yes, and then the introduction is not. Yes.
Tonight we are accepting receipt.
And then introduction would be next meeting, and if everything goes well, it'd be introduced and move on, so forth.
So for clarity's sake, if I have concerns and I want to increase this or reduce that, that's part of the process.
That's correct.
Okay, very good.
All right, good evening, members of the council and residents. In the agenda in the packet, you have the 2024 budget workbook, which has the details of the line items of the 2024 proposed budget. We worked on a presentation to summarize and give the specific changes for this year's budget. And I now would like to go through the presentation for the mayor's 2024 budget transmittal. So, what is a budget? The budget is an outline of how the city intends to spend its funds during the calendar year in order to provide the necessary services for its residents. The budget is pretty much primarily made up of two items. It has the appropriations or the spending side, and it has the revenue or the funds income side of the budget. So appropriations or expenses are broken down by departmental salaries and other expenses, deferred charges and statutory expenses, capital improvements, and debt service. Revenue or income are broken down by fund balance, surplus, miscellaneous revenues, receipts from delinquent taxes, and the amount to be raised by taxes. So how is the budget prepared? And as the business administrator always comments, the budget is not a one-day item. And in fact, it's a continuous conversation every day, multi-year conversation. But if you were to pick a starting point for any given year, it starts with the requests made by the departments or division to make a formal request on what they need for the following calendar year. The administrator, once those departmental requests are received, the administrator and CFO review those requests with the mayor. Then the administrator and CFO meet with the department heads to convey the mayor's approval or denial of said request. Once all the requests are formulated and compiled, that budget is then proposed and transmitted to the council. That's what we're doing here tonight at this council meeting. Then after this meeting, the council reviews the proposed budget, and as stated by the business administrator, at a future council meeting, the budget is then introduced. Then no earlier than 28 days from introduction, the city has a public hearing where the residents speak on any concerns or comments on the budget, and the budget is then the budget is placed before the council for final adoption usually at that same meeting. So now let's get into more specifics on this proposed 2024 budget. So as stated previously, appropriations are what the city anticipates spending for its day-to-day operations. The total proposed appropriations for 2024 is $116,514,808. And then you may ask, what are the significant changes in appropriations from last year to this year? So we highlighted some of the key increases. We have salaries increased $1,657,400, and that's due to contractual obligations to employees. That is 3.38% increase from 2023. Liability and workers' compensation insurance increased $1,678,000 due to an increase in premiums set by the Joint Insurance Fund. And I'd just like to add, this is increases that are seen all across New Jersey. Pension contributions, which are set by the state of New Jersey, increased $676,382, which is a 2.73 increase for the public employees retirement system and a 6.01 increase for the police and fire retirement system. Health benefits increased $1,994,000 due to an increase in health premiums set by the state of New Jersey. And I'll go into health benefits on the next slide as well. All increases above were set by either contracts or other governmental agencies. Also like to note, capital improvements increased $2,350,000 for sewer and drainage improvements, and that increase is offset by American Rescue Plan revenue, which I will speak about in a future slide. So going back to health benefits, the State Health Benefit Commission approved a nearly 23% rate increase in 2023 for the 2023 health benefit program year. That represented approximately $2,192,000 in increased costs for 2023. The approved rate increase for 2024 for health benefit premiums was 7.4%. That is approximately 30% increase over the last 2 years for health benefit premiums. The city will be utilizing $1,500,000 from our reserves to help offset the 2024 increase. The net increase for health benefit in the 2024 budget is $1,994,000. And like to make a note, if health benefit costs do not decrease significantly in the next years, future budgets will have to bear this substantial increase. Now, another note that we'd also like to make is the city's insurance brokers. We have consulted with our insurance brokers, and we've actually gone out to determine if there could be any cost savings that could be made by the city. Let's say if we go out and privatize health benefits through another carrier, and the broker prepared their analysis and got the different rates with our plans, and at this point, it's actually more expensive if we were to go out rather than stay with the state health benefits. Now, again, like I stated, the 2024 proposed budget appropriations was $116,514,808. And how that breaks out, the following: you have salary and wages at $50,733,000, or roughly 44% of the budget. You have other expenses at 42,267,000, or 36% of budget, and that includes items such as the health benefits that we spoke about, liability and workers' comp insurance that we spoke about, and other departmental expenses and contracts such as garbage and recycling. We have deferred charges of 15,565,000, or 13% of the total budget. And items included in there are the state pensions and Social Security expenses. Debt service is equal to about 2% of the budget, 2,098,000. And I'll go on about debt service on a future slide. Capital improvements, 3% of the budget, 4,050,000. And then reserve for uncollected taxes, which is a statutory expense that must be included in the budget, is 1,800,000, or 2% of the budget. So, and I touched on debt service, and just for demonstrations, the City of Passaic now has, this is the debt service looking forward for 2024 throughout the maturity of all our current bonds. And as you can see, the next bond to be paid off is actually a bond that we have issued from 2017, that the final payment will be in 2029. We also like to make a note that as of December 31st, 2023, the city has outstanding debt of 16,474,000 and still has a remaining borrowing power of $153 million. Now, those are the appropriations and the spending side of the budget. Now I'll move on to the budgetary revenue or income for the city. So revenues are how the city funds its appropriations. And as stated before, the revenue is broken down into categories of fund balance, miscellaneous revenue, grants, receipt of delinquent taxes from previous year's taxes, and then the amount to be raised by taxes for the current year. Now, some of the changes from last year's revenues to this year's revenues. So the city is utilizing $6,114,601 in fund balance or surplus. That's an increase of $793,601. We are also experiencing an increase in interest income of $821,000 from the previous year. We also experienced an increase of $654,143 in municipal relief funds. That's aids provided by the state of New Jersey. We also have a new revenue coming onto our budget. It's related to pilots or payment in lieu of taxes of $196,000 for 26 Jefferson Street. We're also utilizing $8,135,000 in Federal American Rescue Plan or ARP funds. That's an increase of $2,085,000 from the previous year. And again, I'll touch a little bit more on ARP funds in a future slide as well. And then finally, we have an increase in the amount to be raised by taxes of $3,649,655, which is a 5% of the prior year tax levy. And I'll say my idea, our revenues, just because, of course, in the state of New Jersey, you have to have a balanced budget. Our revenues are a total of $116,514,808, and they break out as follows. We have miscellaneous revenue of $25,582,000, or roughly 22% of the budget. Items included in that are such as state aid, fines and costs like court fines, code enforcement, permits and fees. We also have the American Rescue Plan funding of $8,135,000, or roughly 7% of the budget. We have receipts from delinquent taxes of 40%. We have surplus anticipated of $6,114,000, or roughly 5% of the budget. And finally, we have the amount to be raised by taxation for the current year of $76,642,763, or 66% of the budget. Now, again, staying on the taxes topic, we have the estimated impact of this budget on taxes. So the estimated impact of the proposed tax levy increase is 5%. Now, based on an average home assessed of $275,000, which it comes from our tax assessor's records, pretty much taking the total value of residential properties divided by the number of those said properties, we get an average home assessed at $275,000. So for this budget, that would produce a 2024 average municipal tax bill of $7,137 when compared to last year's average municipal tax bill of $6,792. That equates to an increase of $345 for the year, or an increase of $28.75 per month. Also would like to note that the assessed valuation added in 2023 of approximately $11.7 million allowed us to limit the impact that reductions such as tax appeals had on the tax rate. And also like to note that based on the school, the library, and the estimated county taxes, the city estimates that the total tax rate increase would be around 3.45%. Now, I know I mentioned it a couple of times in the previous slides, but the American Rescue Plan Act, or ARP funding. So back in 2021, municipal governments received funds through the ARP Act to offset the negative economic impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic. The total allotment for the city of Passaic was $31,131,607. One keynote of those funds were that all funds had to be encumbered by the end of December 31st, 2024, or this current year. And with this proposed budget, the city will be expending all of its ARP funds that it currently has. Now, the breakdown on those ARP funds, that $31 million, the city proposes to use $25 million of the total allotment for revenue loss, that's money added in the budget, overtime and salaries due to the COVID-19 pandemic, ranging from the years 2021 through 2024. The remaining allotment has been used for various COVID-19 mitigation efforts and sewer infrastructure projects. And as stated before, the proposed utilization of ARP funds in this 2024 budget is $8,135,000, which again would exhaust our balance of the ARP funds and have us spending every cent that we received from the federal government. And again, that is a summary of the budget workbook. I thank the council and the mayor for letting me present this and being able to share, this summary. And I don't know if anyone has any questions, but I'll just turn it over to the business administrator.
A few questions, Mr. Director. What exactly will be I'm looking for the word, the funds, the reserve funds, for lack of another term?
So as stated in there, the city's actually using $6,114,000 in fund balance, or surplus, the other term for it, in this budget to help balance this budget.
So net, after this budget is adopted, assuming that this budget is adopted in the way in which it was presented, reserves would go from what to what?
So at the end of calendar year 2023, from our unaudited financial statement, the city ended the year with 26 million in fund balance, and we would be using 6 million in this budget to help balance this budget.
Yeah, Council President, the total number would be, without any revenue at the end of the year that would go into surplus, just all usage, we would have $20,305,518. And we're hoping that we can regenerate 9 million is our goal. based on previous years. But right now, with the 6 million being removed from surplus, it would be $20,305,518.
And what's the administration's rationale in wanting to maintain a $20 million surplus when it could be 15 million? We could reduce taxes by 5 million or build more swimming pools or more programs for our kids after school.
So
Not inconsequential programs, right?
yes, so that's actually a great question. And that's something that the mayor, the CFO, and I are constantly talking about. And in fact, I believe in many of the meetings, budgetary meetings that we have, this similar question comes out. And one of the big things is smoke and mirrors and just working for today. And one of the mayor's direction has always been, we want to make sure that we settle the future of the city of Passaic and not do one-shot deals that would give you a great program tomorrow and then lay off half of the services the day after. So what we want to do is we want to maintain surplus as high as possible because of these unforeseen circumstances. If it was not for art money, okay, $33 million of art money, that surplus that you're looking at right now, we'd be lucky if it was at $3 million, and we would not have been able to complete the budget at the percentage that we currently have.
To be clear, that art money has run out. We're not
That's
getting
right.
any more.
Thank you, Mayor. That was the next line. That was perfect. That's exactly the point. Those are the conversations that the mayor wanted us to be keenly aware as we're preparing the budgets for today and the future, that the reason we were able to accumulate that kind of surplus was because of the art money. I also like to note, just to expand a little bit on what Omar said on the art projects, what we did in the past is we did it as a project, but to use all this money, right, we creatively put it in as revenue loss. And that's why you see like the capital improvements be a little higher. If you saw that one of the first slides and then said offset by ARP, it was so that we can finish those projects that have been approved, but also be able to use up all of the art money by the December 31st, 2024 date. And I'm happy to report that would be zero. We would have used all of the $33 million that was given to the city by the state.
And in addition, if I may, Council President, because I think the question is so important for the residents that are watching, is why not utilize surplus of this fund? In the presentation, if you go back a number of slides, you'll see that there are certain contractual obligations, meaning the city doesn't get to say, we're not going to do these. There's certain costs that comes with health benefits from the state, pension costs. We don't get the luxury or liberty to say we're not going to meet those obligations. As the chief financial director has stated, expecting, with a reasonable expectation that they may continue to increase in the future, having appropriate funds in reserve equates, or we consider these obligations, those are the ones that are foreseen, and then the ones that we don't foresee, like going into a pandemic or an economic crisis or anything that may come up. We have a responsibility to continue services. Meaning we're going to have to continue to pay police salaries, fire salaries. We're going to need to continue to have DPW out there, recreation for children, senior services, a health department. These programs all depend on that. So we try to balance out how much and what the projected revenue will be in the future and what's the best number. There's no specific number that's perfect. We'll get 9 individuals and 9 will have different opinions. But fortunately, we take the opinion of our auditors, our accountants, professionals that have done this for years, and obviously government officials that have been through the ups and the downs of government over these many years. Thank you, Council President.
And if I may just add to that, because I don't want to escape the slide on the health benefits. 23% was an unprecedented number that no town in the state of New Jersey even fathomed. We had used some of the trust account to offset it last year, which we're using it again this year, because the discussions or the thought was that this 23%, what we got down from the state, was there to balance off fill their accounts to balance everything off, and that this year we'd have some reprieve. And instead of getting a reprieve, it went up the 7%, making it a total of 30% in 2 years. That's why we put that comment that if that's the norm, not only us, but all around the state, there will be significant issues with health benefits.
Would you know, Mr. Fernandez, through discussions with your colleagues in other municipalities, what do they look like? We're looking at a 3.45% up. What are you hearing
So we did a quick,
from places that look like us?
you
obviously?
took the words right about that. In fact, that was the mayor's direction to us when we were preparing this budget. And our sister cities some of them have gone up double digits, are pushing the double digits number. Even our sister city of Clifton is going up higher. And Teaneck, by the way, which for the last 3 or 4 years have zeros, that's why we always got to be careful about the zeros, was pushing 10% this year.
The one number that is most disturbing to me, and it is not a reflection of this administration or this council or this government, but is 275,000, which is now the average cost of a house in Passaic. And that is frightening in terms of people who have just finished school, just got out of wherever, trade school, college, whatever it is, and how much money it's going to cost for them just to do anything. Questions from members of the council?
I have a question I just wanted to ask.
I need you to
Great.
speak a little bit louder if you would, Councilwoman.
First of all, great presentation, well explained, but you think we can get an email, not a copy, because I don't want to use the paper, an email of your presentation, because I think it explains more to us and we can see it, how it's broken down.
Absolutely, I can share with the clerk. We can share it.
That's it for me.
Would the administration feel comfortable, and I'm not so sure you should feel comfortable, but would you feel comfortable if any parts of this discussion have been recorded, would be available to the public?
I'm fine with the presentation. Obviously, those who are joining us publicly got to see it. It was on the screen. So we're fine.
Good. Thank you, Mayor. Why don't we say that by tomorrow, if that's your decision, that's great. If it's, I can well understand where I, God forbid, in your shoes, I don't think I'd be so generous. But
I understand. We try to be proactive and transparent, and sometimes we prefer to err on the side of being more transparent to ensure that the public is understanding of the work that goes into this process, which I'll take this opportunity just to share. You know, it's a difficult response for the business administrator to say what municipalities are raising where. No one wants to point the finger at another municipality. But
I have no problem.
I know, from the state level, it's a little different, the perspective. But I will state this, many of our cities around us that had historically been known for low percentage of increase, while this council and this administration said we would do our best to reduce, but never play smoke and mirrors or kick the can down the road. And I'm not saying that's what they've done. Many of them now are going 10% and double digits on the residents. We've all said it for years. Our goal is to not get to that place where we would have to do a 10% or a 12%. We've been working hard to go 5% and less, and our goal is to be steady. We don't pretend with the public that there aren't going to be taxes. There are services, there are programs, but that we would always work together and to try to be as upfront as possible. So yes, we would love to be able to get through this process without all the bumps, but we welcome the public. We want the information available to them because we want them to know that the responsible and pragmatic approach of this council and our administration over the years have positioned us to receive historic funding and at the same time allow us to come together and say, how low can we go here for our residents, knowing the challenges they face. So thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Comments, questions for Mr. Fernandez? Councilman Monk.
Thank you. How does the surplus fund work? Where do the funds come from every year?
So the same revenue sources that Omar stated. So in the state of New Jersey, we're not allowed to anticipate more than what we received the year before. So let's say this year we anticipated $6 million, but something happens, some new things come on the books, and now we receive $9 million. So that additional $3 million gets added to the surplus because it was above and beyond what we anticipated for revenues that year. Things of that nature, areas that maybe were underspent on certain issues, maybe estimates that came in lower than anticipated, then all that gets rolled in. It's on our annual financial statement. That's why sometimes we have to wait till the last minute so they can balance our books. And we know exactly how much is going to be able to go back into the surplus account at the end of the year. So that's how it pretty much is a balancing of the books of what expenditures we actually made versus the revenue that we actually brought in. And then the offset of that becomes the surplus that we put in our coffers for balancing the budget in future years.
Okay, so let's take for last year, 2023, the budget was 108 million, and actual came in at 100 million. So where does that extra $8 million go?
Into the
You spent-
surplus account.
So last year, the surplus account went up $8 million.
Right, but you're not counting the amount that we spent, right? So if we spend, so if we put in for the last year's budget, $5,321,000, right, and we don't use it, then that's part of that 8 million, right? It's not like it's new money. It could be just money that we didn't spend. So it's not an additional 8 million. It's just, we didn't spend some of the stuff we didn't use the year before. Right, so I just want to make sure, just for clarity, I don't want you to think, oh, it's $8 million. No, it's $8 million total, but if I put in 4 million, right, it's not 8 million new, it's 4 million new. I hope that I explained that correctly.
Okay. Another question, you had a slide up there that showed where these